Take 10. Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to Miles on Motors.
The road to adventure.
I'm Eric, and next to me,
Nadi.
the one and only. Be careful about that. This movie is about our journey to Istanbul, Turkey. We traveled all the way up from Almelo to Istanbul on our motorbikes, of course.
We like to start motor vlogging, and this year we will make a bigger trip through Canada, Alaska and the USA. So we know our video about Istanbul is not perfect yet, but we'd like to try and we hope you like it, so you can support us and we can make more videos this year.
And we have to start somewhere, so this is the start, okay? So we do it all in the English language. Normally we speak Dutch, because then everybody understands us. But we know it's not fluent, it's not perfect. But if you want to know the details, put on your subtitles on YouTube and you can follow us anyway, right?
Yeah. So in this video you will see everything about our journey through Istanbul. It was in August 24, so it was really hot. The highest amount of degrees Celsius were 47 degrees on the road. It was in Turkey that day,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
47 degrees Celsius.
It was really, really hot. We visit about 12 countries and we drove about 6,666 kilometers.
Yeah. So in this video we will show you the images we made and we will tell you about it. So we hope you like it. Have a good time.
And if you have some comments, please let us know below.
Because we already travel a lot to Germany, we chose to drive a bit further the first few days. The small roads in Germany are also very good. Much is flat, so we could drive quite fast.
Eventjes de pauzestop. Ja, puur natuur hier, hè.
We gaan even lekker koffie zetten.
Ga even lekker koffie zetten.
Zo, en de camera zo. Hamza is hier. We gaan even...
So we arrived in the Czech Republic on the second day, in the town of Pilsen. Actually, we didn't even realize we were crossing the border at first, until we saw Czech signs and a Czech motorcycle. Nou, gelijk in Tsjechië aangekomen zien we hier natuurlijk al een hele bijzondere zijspan. 2-cilinder boxer, ja, het is geen BMW, maar het lijkt wel een prachtig mooi apparaat, zeg. Schitterend. En het was een hele heftige nacht. Gelukkig is het nu al enige tijd wat droger. De tent is ook weer een beetje leeg. We zijn even aan het wachten tot het een beetje droog gaat. De tent, de koffers staan hier. En dan hit the road. Nadine, goedemorgen, hoe is het?
Goedemorgen.
Je hebt net een gevecht achter de rug met Maya.
Met een wesp.
Maya erbij.
En alles is nat.
Oké.
Echt, alles is nat. Maar
Maar?
we komen vandaag in Oostenrijk. Maar dat doen we niet.
Je bent alles waterproof aan het...
Ja, ik moet alleen nog even de sleutel pakken. Die zit hierin.
Oké.
Nog in.
De tent die hebben we even extra lang laten wachten zodat die even kon drogen. Vandaar. drove to Vienna, where we rented an apartment for 2 nights. This way we could dry and wash everything. We took our time to look around and visit Sissy's place. The city is full of beautiful buildings, the weather was lovely, and there was music everywhere. Ongelooflijk zeg wat ik hier zie. Hier staat de binnenkant van de kerk.
Day, we drove to Bratislava in Slovakia. Here we visited the historical city center with tall buildings and small narrow streets. The road to Budapest was beautiful. The weather was very nice but warm, and the roads were actually well maintained. A really great ride, and in Budapest we strolled through the old part of the town. We enjoyed a terrace and a view over the Donau, another beautiful city.
Very warm again, so we choose a campsite with a swimming pool to cool off. Our tent now really feels like our home, with delicious coffee.
So unfortunately we miss a few days of video because we lost the connector to our DJI camera on our motorbike, so we couldn't fix it anymore. We tried to find it in some shops and the bigger cities, but we couldn't find it. So now we tell you about the 3 next days.
From Hungary we drove to Romania, and suddenly there was a button. We have to show our passports for the first time. So we really got a feeling we're going out of this world. It was a beautiful drive. It was really, really nice. And when we're going over the border, we saw a big cross with Jesus on it. Really, really big. Yeah. And we saw him the whole day along the road. Yeah. Along our drive. It was really amazing. Never seen that before. That much crosses.
Yeah. As much crosses there are in Romania, so that less campgrounds are there. There are like 5 campgrounds in the whole of the country. So we're in a hostel, but it was a little... There were things happening that couldn't stand daylight, so in that way it's not very bad. We couldn't film it there.
Yep, and from Romania we're going to Bulgaria, and the border was a river. It was a big river, and we have to wait there for the ferry. But the ferry was an old, very old, huge freight ship. It was not really a ferry boat, and we have to wait there in the sun. It was really, really hot, about 4-5 hours. We were waiting there for a long time and there was nothing we couldn't get. We couldn't get any drinks or water or whatever. There was absolutely nothing.
Just standing still.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, the ferry ride, I think, was like kind of 20 minutes. So when we were on the other side, we only have to drive only like 60 kilometers to a bigger city. There we found a really nice hotel.
Super.
With a great kitchen and all fresh food. It was ridiculously cheap, so we could stay there for a really nice night.
It was very, very cheap. And the other day we go on the go all the way up to Turkey.
Yeah, we can show that again to you.
We staan dus te wachten voor de bootovergang. Er wordt nog gewerkt aan sommige huizen, maar er is volgens mij een wind- of een stormopkomst. The first city we visited in Turkey was Edirne. This was really fun. A beautiful city with a bazaar in the center and a beautiful large mosque. We really had a nice break and strolled through the beautiful city.
The next day we could drive to Istanbul, where we stayed a few days in an apartment and discovered the enormous city with almost 16 million inhabitants.
Ja. We staan dus in de blauwe minaret in Istanbul. De grootste, heb ik begrepen, ter wereld. Ja, kleding is hier ook respect. Je mag niet met blote benen naar binnen.
Je haren bloot.
Dus je hebt hier een leasepak aan. We visited the Blue Mosque, the Grand Bazaar and Asia. We went through Istanbul by motorbike. It's about 75 kilometers wide and we crossed the bridge. You get then to the Asia part of the city. We staan hier voor de grens te wachten. Bij ons valt het nog mee, maar we hebben net nog gesproken. We staan al 2 uur te wachten. Het is hier bloed en bloedheet. Ik heb het, hoe hard heb jij het nadien bij jou? 38. En die heeft een afwijking die... De Turkse grens. Dag mevrouw, kun je nog volhouden? Hoe lang staan jullie hier al? 4 uur?
After a few days in Istanbul, we drove on to Greece. At the border crossing, we had to wait for hours in the sun.
Hey Nadie, vertel eens, hou het nog een beetje vol hier.
Ja, het is echt heel warm. We moeten nu door het voetenbadje voor de motoren. 39 graden. Het is hier 40 graden en we staan zo te wachten voor de douane. Sometimes as motorcyclists we are lucky because soldiers or border guards are beckoning us and they gave us priority to drive past the cars.
In Greece we drove to Alexandroupolis and there seems to be no space on the campsite until the receptionist said we got a free spot. The best spot ever, right on the Mediterranean Sea. Middellandse Zee. Hé Nadie, hoe is het water?
Ah, lekker.
Toppie meid.
Ja.
2 toetjes.
Als er al koortslip aan die lepel zat, dan is het nu na 5 dagen eraf.
Hey, dat van de dag, hè?
Mooi hè, we rijden van Alexandroupolis naar Thessaloniki en het is zo'n mooie weg. We drove through beautiful Greece to Thessaloniki and enjoyed all the hills, mountains, bends and the beautiful cities. Here we ended up in Kavala, where it was beautiful. Next, we went to Thessaloniki, and this city is full of old buildings and Greek historical sites, from beautiful old squares to palaces and towers. We saw everything I learned about at school here in real life.
It was a beautiful ride across the province of Macedonia. But there were a lot of warnings about the bears. There are a lot of bears. And we drove further and further. And how further we came, we see that the people getting poorer and poorer. Als je naar beneden gaat, Griekenland, Macedonië. Het schijnt hier in de bergen rond te zwerven. We zijn dus even bezig met de pauze. Kijk, we hebben hier een heel mooi schaduwplekje. Dat is wel belangrijk, want we hebben het hier toch over temperaturen zo gemiddeld rond de 40 graden. We gaan even lekker koffie zetten. En ja, je bent natuurlijk wel toe aan een warm drankje. En die zal eens even een beetje installeren, Henry.
Kan jij dit open krijgen? Want
uiteraard kan ik dit. We hebben hier voor onze koffersleutel. Die is exact op het lipje. Ik koop daarom altijd Gifi koffers. Die wipt omhoog, de duim eronder en klaar. Je zult denken, heeft die kok zwarte handen? Ja, dat klopt. Ik heb morgen nog een paar kettingen lopen reinigen. Even omspoelen. Ik denk dat het heel helder fris water is. Zo uit de bergen. Je kan het zo drinken hoor.
We drove into Albania, where we first spent the night in the city of Korçë. It seemed a bit deserted. The city was so quiet until it got really dark at night and everyone suddenly came out. They were strolling through the city in their best clothes. It was really fun to experience and watch them sitting on a bench.
The next day we first drove to Tirana, the capital of Albania, a beautiful city full of culture. Towards the evening we drove to Durrës, where the boat to Italy leaves. In the harbor we met some other motor travelers. We met some friends here. We got a driver on a BMW GS, one of the older but the very big and strong series is that. And you won't believe this, we got some friends from Italy and they're driving, well, the original, turns out not the new one but the original one. Nice machine, right? I like it.
That's the 15th anniversary edition.
I got him right here. Telling your friend, and he broke the clutch handle up here.
Yeah.
So
I drive like 300 kilometers with broken clutch.
Ciao, buonasera. Ticket please.
Ticket.
Is hier gewoon muziek?
Je hebt hier de hand van de lens. Ja, hier Erik. Momenteel vanuit onze hut. Kijk, een beetje hier, een beetje daar. En wat is nou zo slim hiervan? Want we hebben ook nog een badkamer. Ja, dat die kijken.
Oh, deze hebben we zelf ook nog niet gezien. Met
een lichtbad.
een douche.
Geen lichtbad.
Geen lichtbad.
Ik zie ook geen douche hier.
En wc-papier.
Dat is wel heel fijn. Een paar extra rollen zeepapier. Mochten we zeeziek worden, gaan we gewoon even onder de douche staan. En wat het fijne is, we gaan nou slapen en terwijl we slapen leggen we ook kilometers af. We zijn hier aan boord en die.
En dit wat je ziet zijn nog steeds de afgaande auto's.
We stood on the deck until the cars were inside and slowly saw all the scouts gathering around us.
We still had some drinks in our bag and had a nice picnic under the stars on deck.
En wie hebben we daar? Hé, wat we zijn er weer.
After a good night on the boat, we drove along the coast through Italy. It took us a while to realize that the coastal road is much slower than the normal road that runs along it, because all the Italians are also on holiday. Eventually, we took the highway for a while so that we had more time in the afternoon.
Op het kasteel van San Marino. Ik vraag niet hoe we gekomen zijn, maar hoe we mede. Prachtig vergezicht.
Don't get me wrong, baby. Please, baby, don't get me wrong.
We arrived in San Marino. What a surprise. We were really amazed about that beautiful city, well, village. Well, it is a country, of course, because they got their own license plates, they got their own laws. It was a beautiful sightseeing when we looked in over the wall from the castle. What a nice city. Worth to make a stop.
Hangt hier eventjes lekker te drogen.
After San Marino, we drove on to Venice, where we camped on a private property via Airbnb. We visited the city and discovered some special motorcycle parking spaces where you can park for free. So don't be tempted by the touts at the parking lots.
After all the city, we are very happy to drive across the mountains. We drove across the Dolomites, where the first night we spent in Pozzo di Vaza. How incredible beautiful, beautiful mountains all around. Great drive and to walk a little bit around in the little villages.
Waar gaan we naartoe?
Nou, we zagen een kerk zonder dak en zonder ramen. The next day we had a lot of rain, so we took the highway and looked for a campsite on the route.
We staan nu dus eventjes op te bouwen in de zeikende regen. Maar het is echt kletsnat.
We drove through the Dolomites to Würzburg, where we went into town at the end of the afternoon.
Het is 4 uur. En wat is het dan?
Kuppensoep! Onze proviant,
Onze vitaminetabletten.
onze proviant raakt een beetje op. Dat komt ook, we zijn er bijna. Dus
Bijna. Oké dan.
we gaan naar Würzburg. We zijn in Würzburg en dit is een brug. En er staat ook bij, welkom in bruggen shoppen. En dan gaan mensen dus allemaal hier op de brug, daar is ook een wijntent, gaan ze allemaal op de brug wijn drinken met z'n allen. Maar het staat helemaal vol en mensen hebben hun eigen JBL meegenomen voor de muziek.
Keulen, where we enjoy a nice warm hotel. All the culture of the city. There was a fair, fun fair, art and a concert. Beautiful.
Net onze motoren even mooi onder zeil gezet. Waar zijn we dan die? Het concepthotel, hè?
Concerthotel, ja, Josephine.
De Dom van Keulen. We krijgen niet eens in beeld, zo groot als de toren is.
The very last day we packed everything up on the courtyard of our hotel for the last ride home. There was a little surprise because we took the romantic road in Germany. It was a beautiful road that we did not know yet.
When we arrived at our street, we already saw it. With an extra lap around the house, we have driven 6,666 kilometers and 600 meters on this trip. Amazing.
Yep, back on the track. Okay, this was an impression and this was our first video we made from our trip to Istanbul. We will make some more in the future, right?
Yeah.
Right.
If you want to know more details about us traveling or about this trip to Istanbul, you can read our blog on our website. There we have like a travel blog per day. You can also see the schedule there.
Yeah, they got everything on our website, www.milesommotors.com. Don't forget to say that. We are planning a trip to Alaska. Across Canada, going to Alaska, from Alaska going back to that valley all the way up to New York and going up to Halifax again, fly back to the Netherlands. That's our next movie and we hope we get a lot more experience, give you more quality, nicer views, nicer pictures, everything will be better as this video.
So we practiced filming and we already got some more camera gear. So we want to give you 1 or 2 videos a week during our trip to Canada, Alaska and the USA. So, if you like to see that, please subscribe on YouTube. Click on the bell so you get a notification when we upload a new video. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. There you can see everything we see on our trips.
Don't forget www.milesommotors.com. We hope to see you again on the road to adventure. Bye. Miles on Motors, the road to adventure.